What's good, Patriots fans? Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. It is time for our first ever mailbag. And you may be wondering, what is a mailbag? Where can I submit questions? Well, what we did was we went to our community tab on our YouTube page, which if you're subscribed to the channel, you get access to the community page. And we put a call to action. We asked folks to submit their questions to us. And so the questions you're about to see on today's show are real questions that people have asked us, and we share our reactions. And so we'll do these mailbags from time to time here on the channel. That way we can interact directly with you, the folks, the Patriots fans. So if you need another reason to subscribe, besides just getting daily news and rumors and finding out what's going on with your team when it comes to trades and free agency and OTAs, minicamp, and all that, subscribe to the channel. That way you can be a part of our mailbags and interact with the show. So subscribe now, turn on notifications, be a part of our next mailbag by subscribing, and go into our community tab to get your questions in. YouTube.com/Patriots Today to subscribe for free today. First question, let's start with Gary writing in. Hello, Gary the Snail, a legend. In Bikini Bottom. Will the Patriots trade for DeAndre Hopkins? Great question, Gary. Think about this, okay? Let's kind of take a couple steps back. So, for a couple months, right, we've been talking about the Cardinals moving on from DeAndre Hopkins because of all the money that he's owed. The Cardinals in rebuilding mode. Kyler Murray, of course, going to miss at least the start of next year, and potentially even longer after that. Cardinals in full-on rebuild mode. And with their timeline of where they're headed and where DeAndre Hopkins is at this point in his career, it seems like it would make sense for Arizona to move on to save money and to get some draft capital. And so we've seen the rumors, the speculation for the last several months on end about where DeAndre Hopkins is going to end up. And with the PED suspension that he had at the beginning of 2022 that voided his original no-trade clause. So all of a sudden, the Cardinals could trade him to wherever he wanted to go. And I think people assumed, and it's always interesting what happens when you assume things, because when you assume, as you guys know, all it does is it makes an ass out of you and me. And people assumed that DeAndre Hopkins wanted out with the direction Arizona was going. And then he said just the other day, who said I wanted to be traded? So he seems to be enjoying life in Phoenix. He's probably got some property in Scottsdale or something, I think. So I say that all to say that Cardinals don't necessarily have to move DeAndre Hopkins. And one of the problems that the Patriots have, and really anybody for that matter, after the draft and all this, is there's not a whole lot of money to spend for as much as DeAndre Hopkins would command. So would he be an improvement for New England's offense? Absolutely he would be. And he would be a nice weapon for Mac Jones, and it would be a big benefit to have DeAndre Hopkins around. But can you afford DeAndre Hopkins? That doesn't seem likely. So will they? I would lean towards they probably won't. DeAndre Hopkins, wherever he goes, is going to likely have to take a pay cut, which I'm not exactly sure if he wants to do that either. So I would lean towards no. I wouldn't rule it out, but there are a lot of obstacles in the way of getting DeAndre Hopkins to New England as far as that goes. But, Gary, thanks for the question. Should the Patriots trade for DeAndre Hopkins? That's our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Let me know what you think. Should the Patriots trade for DeAndre Hopkins or not? Shock Universe checking in. Will Kayshon Boutte and Demario Douglas make a big impact this upcoming season? Very good question, Shock. And I was reading some reports this week that it's not a foregone conclusion that Kayshon Boutte will even make the 53-man roster potentially after the disappointing season he had last year at LSU, that everybody's going to have to work towards everything. And I wonder just how quickly these guys come out of the gates. Could they make a big impact this year? Potentially they could. But, you know, they got a road ahead of them. I think there is not only getting to the National Football League, but coming to New England, a bit of an adjustment period. And things are going to change. They're not what they always were with these guys of They have things that they have to get used to. So Boutte and Douglas, I think, have plenty of potential, but I don't know if you're going to see them right away start clicking and start gelling and start seeing them to their full potential. So big impact, I would lean towards no on the word big impact. And impact, yeah, certainly possible. But I think that's putting a lot of pressure on these young guys to say a big impact right away as far as that goes. But Shock Universe, thanks for the question. TUBB09, smoke emoji, fire emoji with the wolf avatar writes in, will we sign any more free agents before the season starts? Potentially. Earlier this week on the channel, we talked about a couple of names of potential free agent targets for the Patriots. And I got to tell you, the Patriots, you think about this, where you're at in the AFC East, right? We know the Buffalo Bills are fantastic. The Miami Dolphins were a pretty good team last year, and they've improved. And then the New York Jets, now bringing in Aaron Rodgers and all the talent that came with Aaron Rodgers. The Jets weren't a bad team either last year. They're going to take a step up. All three of those teams are playoff caliber teams. And I look at New England, and it's an arms race in the AFC East, right? I think if you're the Patriots, you have to look at your competition and you have to say, look, if we want to compete with these guys, we have to do more. And I understand that, you have some problems when it comes to how much money you can spend and where the money is and all that. But it's certainly possible, but we'll see. I wouldn't rule out the possibility just to try to make sure that you can at least somewhat compete with those three teams, at least hold your own when you take on those guys, because this division is going to be very, very tough. Who's the player you think the Patriots should sign? Who comes to mind that you'd like to see the Patriots pick up this offseason? Let us know in the comment section who do you like to see join the New England Patriots here before the season begins. Jared writes in, will the Pats ever have a London game? So we found out this week that the Patriots are going to play in Germany, in Frankfurt, against the New Orleans Saints. And that's awesome. Great chance to expand your brand. Feels like almost like a college bowl trip of some sorts, because you're going to have Patriot fans from the U.S. that'll make the trip to Germany to support the New England Patriots. So that's a pretty cool deal. Obviously, the players will be there for several days and everything. But as far as London goes, maybe so. I think that there's obviously a chance. The NFL is expanding its reach and doing more of these international games. We're seeing more games in Mexico, too. So I don't know when, but yeah, it seems possible that they could play a London game at some point in time, but we'll see exactly what they do. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to do more of these mailbags in the future. So if you want to be a part and us answer your questions on the show, subscribe and send them in. Go to our community tab and be a part of what we're doing here on Patriots Today. Hit me up on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live. That is where you can find me, and I'll see you next time right here on Patriots Today.